Before we dive into today's reflection on truth, let me tell you a story. It may not have all the answers, but it might help you ask better questions. There was once a young man named Corin, a thoughtful soul who had grown tired of simple explanations. Ever since he was a child, he was haunted by questions. Why are we here? What is the mind? What is real? And what is only belief pretending to be truth? So he left his home and began his search. He studied under renowned thinkers, read sacred texts, sat through endless seminars on consciousness, metaphysics, and the nature of reality. Some teachers gave him paradoxes, others gave him systems, a few even gave him silence, but none gave him peace. After years of inquiry, Corin began to feel like he was walking in circles, each path promising clarity, but delivering only complexity. He felt more fragmented than ever. Disillusioned, he returned to his hometown and took up a modest job restoring old homes. He figured if he couldn't rebuild the world, he could at least help repair a few broken windows. One day he was assigned to an isolated stone cottage at the edge of a cliffside. It was owned by an elderly woman named Mara. She lived alone, surrounded by books, vines, and a view of the open sea. Corin expected silence and solitude, but Mara was warm, curious, and oddly interested in his thoughts. During lunch breaks, they spoke. At first it was small talk, then philosophy, then life. She wasn't a teacher, not formally, but the way she listened, the questions she asked, made Corin think in ways he hadn't before. Her words were quiet, but they stirred something in him. One afternoon, while fixing a particularly fogged window, Corin turned to her and said, "Mara, you speak like someone who's found truth. Not just read about it, but lived it." She smiled but didn't answer. Corin continued, "I've spent years searching. I've met gurus, professors, even monks who took vows of silence. None of them made me feel the way your questions do. How did you learn all this?" Mara looked out the window for a long moment, then said softly, "Would you like to see something?" She led him to a small room at the back of the cottage. Inside, the walls were lined with mirrors, different shapes, sizes, all spotless. At the far end was a tall, narrow window with no frame, just clean glass opening to the sea. "This," she said, pointing to the window, "is the world. Ever-shifting, vast, unknowable. You'll never hold it, only witness it." Then she turned to the mirrors. "And these?" Corin asked. "These are our minds," she said. "Each one reflects a version of the world. Some distort, some flatter, some blur, some focus. But none are the thing itself." Corin was quiet. "You spent your life polishing other people's mirrors," Mara said gently, "but you forgot to look through your own window." He looked again at the sea, calm, infinite, moving. "So what should I do?" he asked. She smiled. "Stop searching for the perfect reflection. Sit by the window. Watch. Listen. Let the world show itself to you without filters." That evening, Corin didn't say much, but something had changed, not dramatically, not like a revelation, but quietly, like fog lifting from glass. Sometimes we confuse knowledge for truth. We collect maps, mirrors, metaphors. But truth, if there is such a thing, may not be something we can be told. It might only be something we can see when we finally stop trying to frame it. So maybe the real wisdom isn't in finding the person who has the right answers, but in learning to ask the kind of questions that lead us back to the window. And maybe that's where philosophy begins, not in complexity, but in presence.